All right, and welcome back, listeners, to another episode of Cheap Chumps podcast. Today, the recording date being October 16th of 2021. So this is, if you've been counting, episode 5. And let's just get the introductions out of the way. It's me, Marty. You've heard me. You've talked to me before. To my virtual right, I'm going to throw it over to Josh.
Hey, how's it going? Also, I think it's episode 6, but that's neither here nor there.
I'm almost certain this is 5, but maybe it is 6, and I've been counting wrong. Uh, Past Josh is George. Go ahead, George.
I thought this was episode 17.
I
What?
hate you. Just wait till episode 17 where we talk about our favorite video games. But everybody, this is George. George.
Yeah? Wait, we're starting?
Oh my god. All right. And past George, you've heard him. He's our audio engineer and just a good friend of mine. Go ahead.
Are we family? Like, I think
Yeah.
we're more than friends.
Now we're friends.
I think
All
that's
right,
a
well,
compliment.
yeah. And as the official audio engineer who records these shows, I can guarantee this is episode 6.
All right, this is episode 6. That's my apologies. But we still are recording on October 6th. Technically speaking, I know it's 15th time
16.
zones. Wait, what did I just say? God, all
Six.
right. This is already throwing me off because episodes. October 16th is the recording date for this. Anyway, moving on. We're just going to get right into some of the small topics and then go on to the big topics. So here's something that I've been holding from the rest of the podcast, people here with me, the speakers, if you will. And I'll just go ahead and read this. And this is from PCGamer.com itself. Just getting right into it. Forget the potatoes and pregnancy test. This is the title, by the way. Doom runs on Twitter now.
What?
Oh, the
Mhm.
original Doom? What the?
The original Doom. You know how there's always been this talk of like, oh, Doom, you can run it on Minecraft, you can run it on potatoes. Literally, people have figured out how to run Doom in a lot of things because I guess Doom is that kind of culture game, you know?
Well, yeah, I can run everything.
Yeah, well, now it runs on Twitter too.
What?
How?
Mhm.
Where I
I,
find this?
I,
Web base?
first of all, if you want to follow the account, follow at tweet to Doom, tweet TWEET, the number 2 Doom, and just follow them, and they give you a whole guide as to how to play. But I'm going to read more into the article, and this is by Andy Chalk himself. Shout out to Andy. The Tweet to Doom bot takes inputs via tweets and then spits out gameplay in replies. Doom runs on a lot of things. Here it is on an Intel Edison chip, which is actually quite mundane as these things go. Far more impressive is seeing it in action on a home pregnancy test, 100 pounds of moldy potatoes, the display that shows your order in a restaurant, and even some sheep in Minecraft. Again, it's kind of crazy what it runs on. Here's a
Oh
whole
shit! Yeah,
separate.
you can actually do it. I'm looking at it right now.
Yep, here's a whole separate list if you really want to go down that rabbit hole. The most recent addition to the lineup of weird things running Doom is nothing less than Twitter, and specifically the Tweet to Doom bot. And then there's a lot of code and nerd things. I won't get too into it, but the idea is that you like download this one file, and it teaches you like, all right, if you tweet this, this, and this, it will equate to these command inputs. And so pretty much by that, you could tweet it and then it will start you at, I think, level 1, and it will pretty much show you what your gameplay equates into in 60 FPS in like a single video. And I think the record, I was just looking at it, the record for fastest pass time or clear time of E1M1, which I think is the first stage. Someone correct me. I think Josh could correct me here.
I think that's the first stage. At
Yeah.
least it's the song title of the first stage, anyway.
Yeah, the record for that stage is 19 seconds with 4 commands on Hurt Me Plenty difficulty.
Actually, there's a new record 14 hours ago. 16 seconds with 3 commands on Heart Me
Well,
Plenty.
there we go. So I just, I'm just gonna say, as a gamer, it's really, what's the word? Fun, I guess.
Cool?
Just
Oh, okay.
cool,
Fun
cool,
works.
and fun to see that like how far gaming culture has kind of impacted. Just like it's a social media platform, and we talk about video games on it all the time, amongst a bunch of other things. But
Wait, I just
never
had
go
an
on.
idea. You know when Twitch plays Pokemon, how about Twitter plays Doom? Just have a bunch of people trying to input and playing Doom on Twitter.
That would,
Is that
I don't know.
already what's happening?
I was gonna say that's sort of a no because you do it at your own pace when it comes to the
Yeah,
Twitter
I
thing.
know, but what if they integrate so they can have multiple people just spam commands in, just like in Twitch plays Pokemon, and try and
I
play the game
I
that way?
think here's what I'm gonna say about that. I think its novelty stays on Twitch because of Twitch chat culture and the way Pokemon plays. Is that like the whole struggle is like getting a character to a certain spot. Like you can't really skip battles, and it's forced to take on more battles because it's walking left and right in a cave, right? In
Yeah.
Doom, I feel like the real challenge is just killing the enemy or getting to the end, and like they'll probably accidentally do it.
Hmm.
Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I like it. It's a funny idea. But Ernie, I want to hear from you. What do you think about being able to play Doom, a classic from what 19? I don't know. I'm not. I'm somebody fact check me, but I think 1993. And just playing it on
I
Twitter now.
I remember going to Walmart and buying this game on 3 floppy disks.
It really on 3 floppy disks?
Yeah, but I think
December 10th, 1993.
Yes.
yeah,
Damn. I got it.
That's basically a month after I was born.
Oh well, there you go.
I
Years
think
old
it's cool,
Doom.
but follow up question, why?
It's just
Why not?
why not?
Because
You know?
there's a million better ways to play this game.
Yeah, but wouldn't you want to type U and then that equates to shift up arrow and play a game that way? Don't you just want by a single tap of a keyboard play a game?
Isn't that how you play games?
Sometimes FF14 you need to tap a couple more things. Um,
I think it's
That's
cool. I think it's a cool gimmick, but it's cool.
I don't know. I just think it's funny and just hearing the reaction of just like what like when I heard about this, I was like, "There's no way it's real." And I looked it up and I thought about trying it, but I was like, "Nah, it's too much work because you got to download all this." But anyway, tweet to Doom. If you're a big fan of Doom, I suggest following this. I like Doom. I just one day. Here's what I'm waiting for because Doom could be played on anything. The thing I'm waiting for now is that we do the same joke, but with Doom 2016. That'll take another 3 decades, but
Decades.
yeah. But I would like that. I think that'd be funny, and I think that'd be great, and just keep the meme alive. Uh, anyway, moving on. Guilty Gear Strive just had its patch drop today, actually, with a bunch of patch notes, and I could talk about for the whole hour what the patch notes mean, but in short,
Everyone got buffed.
everyone got buffed except Chip. Chip's mixed-up game got nerfed. I was actually playing the patch earlier. Ramlethal, and I'm talking to my 2 Strive players here. Ramlethal can do Rekkas really, really fast now. Like, it's a good round start option now. And
Great.
people still don't like me playing Ramlethal, but that's fine. You know, my friends are my friends, and I'm sure they love me in the end.
What about
Uh,
my Leo and Potemkin?
What
they
about
didn't. They didn't need buffs.
I mean, I want to hear about these buffs because I actually haven't seen these yet.
Well, I suggest you go on over and look at them right now because if we talk about them, it'll be its own podcast. Trust me.
Okay,
There's a lot of
I'll just take your word. They're buffed. Yeah, kind of
there's just a lot
play
of they
Strive later this week or something. But
they changed how forward P works. They changed how slash and heavy slash works. So like spacing is kind of different on certain characters, and some other and faultless defense you can't be guard crushed out of it anymore. So like it has a purpose.
so Behemoth Typhoon won't just break it.
No, and neither does like Garuda Impact and all this, but every character got buffed to like make up for this except Chip. So at the end of the day, big plus. Guilty Gear Strive fans, hope you enjoy that. It has been like a month since we last got anything. Um, if I
Pretty
recall,
sure-
the next
Yeah,
next
it's supposed to be
DLC
month, right?
next DLC character, I think they said end of 2021, so that could be either next month or the month after. They didn't specify.
I say give it a month and a half at least.
All right, but keep an eye out for that. And for this next topic, I'm just going to go ahead and read an article, this time from Kotaku.com, written by CC. Sorry if I butcher your name, Jiang. Steam bans, or no, I read that backwards. Good riddance, Steam bans games that feature cryptos and NFTs. Now, let me ask real fast, what is an NFT? I'm not too familiar with like cryptocurrency, other than like how it kind of works sometimes. So, you know, what's an NFT? When I hear NFT, I think of something else that I can't say.
It's
Look at Chief has no clue.
Okay, so here's what it is. It's a digital card. So you know how back in the days you would go and you would buy like a baseball card.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, now think of it. Think a digital baseball card that has a specific serial number that makes it original and makes it yours. So you
Oh,
own digital
isn't
data.
isn't that what they did for at the Emmys or whatever for Chadwick?
I
Like
was gonna say, here's the kicker though. It's possible that you don't even own this property, so you could basically have an NFT of something that you never create or own. For
uh,
example,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you know that meme with that little girl She had like the house is burning behind her. She had like a wicked smile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she sold that NFT of her, the original photo. She sold it for like 300 grand or 100 grand or something stupid.
No,
And that
good.
that's what an NFT is. That original meme, they made it an NFT and it was hers, and she sold it.
Well, first of all, that in itself I think is a good story because realistically it's a photo, and if someone's willing to spend 300K, that's fine. However, I don't see how people were like making use of this on Steam. I mean, I'm sure someone figured it out, but that's just so. I don't know how to state this. It's just so weird.
Yeah, I was reading the article and it was saying that when you there was a game there that you played and it would give you NFTs and you would own them, I guess,
Huh.
and you could trade them later. I don't know.
Would it just
Oh,
like generate random ones, or would it just give you like new ones? Or
All,
just give
all
you
I
ones
read
that are
was
already
the game was generating NFTs.
Yeah, I know it's
Um,
possible to crypto mine and whatnot. And I guess certain games you can like crypto mine off of that, but I'm not entirely sure how that works. But that's how you can do it.
right here, and I found out what it stands for. It stands for non-fungible tokens. That's what it stands
Yeah.
for.
Uh, so a easier way you could think of NFTs, it's like, oh, you see, it affects like artists, for example. So let's say you see like someone's artwork on Twitter or whatnot. You're like, oh, that looks cool. I'll take that and then I'll sell it as an NFT. It's like, oh yeah, I made this, and that's pretty shitty. NFTs are not good.
Yeah, I just gotta say, and the article even mentions it, but like this is very, very. It seems like an easy drawing for scammers, quite
Yeah,
easily.
it's
Like,
it's a it's a giant scam.
yeah, like I'm sure having the original meme and something like that is really, really cool until like you accidentally delete it or whatever. Feel like that just might happen too.
But
But
it's a meme. Who the fuck cares?
it,
It's not tangible.
well, like
The
here's the thing. You know how look, I'm not saying it's the same equal level, but like I sort of get it on the level of like those people who found those landmass like grave version copies of ET and
Yeah,
went, well, it's a shitty
that's
dirty game, but like I'm gonna put in 100K, and they like the price went up more and more.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That's physical. That's tangible. Like digitally, like I don't know.
I'm not saying I
but
would do it, but
this
Yeah,
is where it's going. It's going to baseball cards and sports cards. So now you get NFTs of actual baseball cards, basketball cards, and stuff like that. So I think you buy a pack, and I think they're expensive for like I don't know a couple $100, and then you can get an NFT of a really good player, and some of them sell for a lot of money.
or you could go on Google Images, look for that picture, and bam! Now you just got that. You didn't have to spend money.
Right, but then you don't own the NFT, and then well, again,
Yeah, but
I
they
don't
don't even know it. It's so stupid.
I don't agree with it. I think it's dumb, but I see
Yeah.
where
yeah,
people
I
I
see
get
the
it.
argument for it, but people don't let
playing
it go
devil's
through.
advocate. That's what people think. Like, oh, it's the number one. Like my friend, he just got a Joe Adele. He is the I think right fielder, left fielder for the Angels, and the serial number on that card is one. So if Joe Adele becomes a big success in the Angels and NFTs still exist, that could be worth a lot of money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Why?
but
Because somebody will pay it.
yeah.
That's it.
or someone could just Photoshop a picture of it, and then they could change it, whatever number that's there, and put a one on it. Like, oh shit, and then they
No,
sell it as an
no,
No,
NFT.
but then that leaves a mark.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not just a serial number on the photo. It's more than that.
Yeah, like it's like the equivalent to make it more sense for you. It's the equivalent of like you probably have a first edition Babe Ruth card or whatever, and some other guy takes a photocopy and like slaps it on the card and makes it as clean as possible. But like people who are really into it, and we've all seen Pawn Stars or whatever, the right person could definitely like suss it out if that makes sense. So it's the digital equivalent to that, George.
Yeah,
Does that make
but
sense?
it just baffles me because they may not even own it. But I'm not talking about like baseball cards or stuff like that because that's like more tangible, like they're physical cards. But stuff like memes and whatnot, how do you determine who made the first original meme? Anyone can call that. You see a
Yes.
meme on the internet,
You
unless if
can.
you were the first one.
There's
Well,
a lot more tech talk that I think is above us, but you can like look at certain code and that's how you could tell.
As long as
It,
someone's willing to buy it, it's gonna be worth
exactly. That's
something.
all
Yeah.
that matters.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
I'm not ever I don't care. I like the tangible things. That's why I still buy physical copies for video games. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but
so now that's different in my eyes. Like it's physical, tangible. You can see like, hey, look, It says here. It's
Yeah.
like
But I will
it's real.
I will die before I buy digital of most things. I know there's some games that only come out digitally. Sucks, but like if there's a physical copy, I will search it out and have it delivered to my house or go pick it up or something. Because I am about the physical stuff. But again, there will be people who pay for this, and there
Yeah,
are
I
people
think
who buy digital copies of all their games.
yeah, which
So
there's pros and cons buying stuff digitally, and in the future, for climate, like to protect, the Earth, we kind of want to cut back on making stuff. So eventually, stuff will go all more digital. But I don't see us going at that point. Maybe within our lifetimes, maybe, but I'm not too sure.
I don't know. I just know that to go back kind of on topic that Steam banned games that have cryptocurrency and NFTs. Um, and yeah, that's just about the gist of it. I can go more into it about how certain developers pretty much don't have games on Steam anymore. There's a bunch of NFT based games. I don't know how the games work. NFTs themselves are already an enigma to me. But uh, Steam
They're
came
just
around.
scams. Yeah.
Steam came around, said, "All right, no more," and so that's it. They're gone. If I read into it, it says right here. Apparently, says they added it into their what's the word? Terms and services, something like that.
POS.
Yeah.
Yeah, Valve is onboarding rules page, so now it has that. So they future proofed it. I'm sure something will somehow sneak its way through, but just know that your Steam library is probably safe. And if you were buying those, I'm sorry. I guess do I need to apologize for that?
No, they were
Yeah,
fools.
I don't think it's a big deal now, but I think they want to nip it in the butt before it becomes a big deal.
Yeah, like I didn't know this was a issue until now. Really. Um, Moving on. Speaking of Steam, right now on the Steam store itself, you can not only pre-order Image Rise on the PC, you can actually download a demo and go play and see how it plays on the PC. Um, I was
Image Rise
looking.
being
Yeah, I was gonna say I was looking through Twitter and it apparently says it runs at an uncapped frame rate at 4K resolution if your computer's powerful enough. So that's good. I just kind of wish that you can transfer your save file because I don't think I'll buy it. But if that's for you, letting you know right here on the Cheap Son podcast, you can go ahead and if you do try it, let me know, and I'll at least play
Uh,
the demo with you.
I was gonna say I did see a tweet about the Monster Hunter Rise Twitter where they did say they were looking into doing cross save, but then they can't do it at this time. But it's something they're still looking at for the future, maybe.
That'd be cool. I would really like that. But Monster Hunters aren't like built around that. They just aren't. They're like they're like weirdly single player games that have multiplayer functions. They're one of those. So you
Yeah.
know, and there
Well,
are a lot of. Sorry, go on.
I I think it's weird because I think Diablo 2 Resurrection is doing that. I think if I buy it on the PC, I can my Switch character can swap over.
Huh.
So it's happening.
Yeah, it's possible. It's just like okay. Here's the thing: is that you got to remember Capcom is a Japanese-based company, and they have this weird let me start over. They have this weird NIH rule. Does anyone here know what that stands for?
No.
Uh,
So not
no ingrown hairs.
close.
right.
I like that role.
It stands for not in-house
Oh, okay.
rule.
Yeah, I was
So
pretty close.
this and I've talked about this not on the podcast, but like with rollback, with that in Japan, they're very strict about coming up with stuff on their own. So if it's literally not made in house in their companies, in their factories or whatever, they will not adapt to it, even if it's better.
Okay.
That's why a lot of Japanese-based fighting games still had delayed base netcode, even though like we've had Killer Instinct with rollback since 2013 for a while, but that's because Japanese developers were like, nope, it wasn't made here. Americans made it, so therefore we will not do it. However, we will try and make our delayed based as best as possible. Examples being like Street Fighter V, where they're like, oh, it's practically a rollback, but it wasn't. And a lot of companies still think like that. So the idea with this is that like there's cross save, but I'm pretty sure that started out as an American thing as well. So Japan is still kind of like hesitant on it. And like, well, we didn't come up with it, so we're just not gonna do it.
It's Japan's just weird with technology. Sometimes
Yeah.
they're like cutting edge on some stuff, but then other stuff where they're kind of behind. Like they still use fax machines.
Yeah, it's a weird unspoken rule. Um, I don't mean any offense. I think Japan's pretty great, at least food and culture and stuff. But it's just a weird rule that they have for no reason. We're just like, we didn't make it, therefore we do not touch it.
Is it like a pride thing? Like a sense of
I'm sure it's a pride thing, but like, no one's really looking at them and being, oh, we're look at them with so much pride. Look at how prideful they are that they made this fighting game with
Or
shitty
maybe
delayed based
I was
netcode.
gonna say something to do with money as well, because I know like for music, they like to sell lots of CDs and whatnot. Still, like they rarely will have like artists over there selling stuff, digitally, like songs. You have to buy, like we can listen to certain songs. Like, oh, you need to actually buy and own a physical CD, which not
And this
many
is why
artists do these days.
I'd like to move to Japan someday. I like buying CD. I like buying physical stuff. Anyway, no, but yeah, so cross save on Monster Hunter Rise, I'd appreciate that. Otherwise, the demo's out right now, and I clicked on the wrong thing. Forgive me, everybody. And to move on to the next potential, I'm gonna say potential game that may or may not be coming out in the future. This is from comicbook.com under their gaming tab. Bloodborne 2 rumored to be in development for PS5 by Logan Moore. And I'm just gonna skim through, but pretty much Bloodborne came out back in 2015. Most of us
Great
know
game,
that,
one of my
and
favorites.
I'm I liked it. I'll save my thoughts on it because I want to focus more on this. But news of Bloodborne 2 officially being in the works comes by way of former video game reporter Colin Moriarty. I'm just
Moriarty.
Moriarty. I forgive me, Colin. Who is the host of Sacred Symbols, a podcast that revolves around all things associated with PlayStation. In the latest episode, Moriarty shared that, to his knowledge, developer Bluepoint Games is currently in the process of working on a new PS5 version of Bloodborne. After completing this remaster, so first of all, I guess that's a 2-in-1 rumor. Um,
Hmm.
After completing this remaster, though, the studio then is going to move to develop Bloodborne 2 as an original title of its own making. And then quoted, they're re-releasing Bloodborne on PS5, as I understand it. Moriarty said, but we're going to get a sequel to Bloodborne, as I have heard out of them after that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna touch on a few things. If the only rumor is coming from one guy,
Yeah,
I
it's a rumor. Like, take it with a very big grain of salt. But this, I hope it's true, man. I really
Did
hope
Blue
it's true.
Point? Did they make Demon Souls the remake?
Yeah, they remade the Demon Souls remake, which was fantastic. So they have worked with From Software, and we did hear that, or it's been confirmed that Blue Point is like under the PlayStation Studios family now. And they said they want Blue Point to make original games. And this kind of, like, this rumor makes sense since they made Demon Souls remake, and they can collab with I guess From Software for like story purposes. That way they can just actually make the game and mechanics. Since at the moment, From Software is busy with Elden Ring whenever that game comes out, which it might still be a while before that game comes out.
I think it's
Took
January.
forever.
Yeah.
just
So
so much for a while.
yeah, which
Yeah,
maybe this is why no Bloodborne remaster yet on PS5, because they were just so busy with Elden Ring.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, first of all, how has Bloodborne not been remastered? I feel like PlayStation was really behind it. They like pushed for it. They like called it like one of PlayStation's greatest hits.
Yeah,
Um,
it's one of the best launch, or I guess first party titles
yeah,
in
so like
PlayStation's library.
I'm more stunned they haven't done this remaster sooner. I get they're not Nintendo with the Switch where like they just rushed everything over. They said, you know what, everything go to PS5.
I mean, that's kind of like a thing in the Souls community. It's kind of a meme. It's like every time there's like a PlayStation Direct, or like, please Bloodborne remaster or Bloodborne 2, and it never happens. We're like, well, we got fucked again, boys.
It's like the Waluigi of Smash. Anyway, uh, yeah, so like I'm amazed this hasn't happened sooner. I'm slightly less amazed, but still amazed. There hasn't been a Bloodborne 2, and I'm sure for a lot of reasons. Bloodborne is still technically a Souls game, so they still have to make all that other stuff. But
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know,
what
Bloodborne
it's a lot more
felt.
faster paced than like the other Souls games, which I liked, and I like the gothic Victorian like look to it very
I, I
much.
I played it. I didn't beat it. Um, Souls games are fun, but they're definitely like time without looking up guides and stuff. If you really like to figure your own stuff out, you definitely got to sink time into it, which is fine.
Mhm. If
But
you
like
want, like me and Rawl and could like help you do a playthrough of it.
no, because last time you said that, guess who didn't help me? I'm putting you on
Me.
blast since you just brought it up. It wasn't Ernie.
Uh,
It was you, because I bought it on Black Friday for $10.
oh, that's a really great deal. But
No, you're straying away from the point. You said you would help me, and then you
yeah,
never did.
yeah. But you're like, so we're Okay, first of all, you never sent me a message like, "Hey, you want to play it now or whatnot?" And I would be like, "Oh yeah, sure."
What
After
would the
work,
point be? It would just be like Leo with Demon Souls, where he sent you a message.
he beat the game, and then he's like, "Okay, I'm done with it." And I was at work because when I was at work, he was playing the game still.
All right, well, that's its own conversation.
Yeah,
But secondly, Monster Hunter World, I need to remind you, I did message you for that, and
yeah,
you just
and
just did not.
I think that's when I started like my current job, and I was got more busy.
Well, what? Anyway, back to the point. Bloodborne, it was really fun. I did enjoy it a lot more than other Souls game, and I'm a big like fantasy guy, but like the gothic theme of Bloodborne spoke out to me, especially in a world that like doesn't give its story directly to you. Like you just have to pay attention. But that's the
Yeah,
thing. That's why I didn't beat it. Is that I, now
it,
I'm
it, it's a
take it
nuanced storytelling.
take it that I'm a Kingdom Hearts like JRPG Fire Emblem fan, where like they give me the story and then you move from point A to B. Um, but like I don't know, I just kind of like that a lot more for my taste. So Bloodborne 2, I would like it if it did happen. I don't think I'd buy it until Black Friday again, where it's $10. That's how I get a lot of my games that aren't like my number one games. Is that like
I'll gift it to you on like your birthday or something.
let's let the game come out first.
I mean, like that's how excited I am for Bloodborne. I really want this to come out.
Let's let it be real. I mean, again, I'd like
Yeah.
it, and even then, I think it kind of said here that they wouldn't call it Bloodborne. It'd be like a new title, like Blutterborn.
Uh,
Blutterborn? Hell yeah.
Now the one thing about this rumor, it's like where it's like, oh, they're remastering Bloodborne. It makes sense that they remastered Demon Souls. Makes perfect sense. But they're working on Bloodborne 2. The only reason, like I said, I can see that happening is they're working with FromSoft just for story, and because FromSoft is busy with Elden Ring. That's the only reason I can see this happening. Otherwise, I would just leave it to FromSoft to make Bloodborne 2.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, rumor aside, don't think we should spend too much time thinking about what gameplay could be because it doesn't exist right now.
Yeah, like we hope that this is so much for at least a Bloodborne remake to come out, but that's always gonna be a thing. Like, I wonder when the Bloodborne remake to PS5 is coming out or
All right.
remaster.
And now moving on to what is going to be one of our biggest news, or at least topics to talk about. This game just came out not too long ago. We've all heard about it. We've all talked about it at some point. I
Have
even
you
played the.
heard of the critically acclaimed
No, shut up.
MMORPG?
I've even I played the demo for this. Back for Blood came out. I think 4 days. Someone Ernie. When did it come out?
I don't know. I bought the deluxe edition, so I've been playing it for a while,
Uh,
for at least a week, over
All
a
right.
week.
So this has been out for like a week. This review does not help me about when it came out. It just said it came out.
I'm pretty sure it
Um,
was Tuesday.
it came out officially Tuesday. We're gonna say
October 12th.
October 12th. Yeah, that's
That's 4 days
probably
ago.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
And there's a bunch of reviews that have been written. Enough time. And Back for Blood review, I think overall has a review of 85% according to Google users. Um, I could look at Metacritic and all that, but there's a lot of websites. So I'm just gonna read what
I could look on Steam.
IGN wrote, and then I want to hear, especially from Ernie, but then also ask you questions about what may or may not have changed from the demo that I remember. So, amid a sea of seemingly endless looter shooters, would you really call Back for Blood a looter shooter? Hold on, I already have to ask that question. Is this classified as a looter shooter?
I mean, you are looting and shooting. You're not. I mean, burly, like just
From
burly.
I would consider this like a survival FPS. No.
I mean, you can find cards, right, from like what we played the beta.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
looting cars, you're looting guns, you're looting ammo. I mean, again, legally, like if it went to court, you could legally pass, but not really.
I mean, on
Well,
Steam, the tags just says zombies, action, online co-op, multiplayer. That's about it.
Well, as this guy like talks about in like the first sentence, he says like he loves its glorious white knuckle tone, clever card based progression, and fist pump worthy campaign. which I'll say yes. The combat was fun. Some of the quips was fun. The cards can be interesting and add like a new level of gameplay that like doesn't get stale. At least in my opinion. However, he does come out to critique it and saying an awkward difficulty curve, which I'm kind of sad that stayed, and a stale versus mode prevent Back for Blood from moving into a full blown sprint, but it still provides an exciting mix of new and old ideas as you mow down shambling legions of the undead. So, just from that first paragraph, I'll just say it seems to have kind the spirit of Left 4 Dead. However, I think it also brought some of its illnesses, I guess, to make myself sound smarter. Where like it has campaigns and stuff. However, it just has a weird difficulty curve, and the versus mode is which is
Oh,
what I always thought about Left 4 Dead. Ernie, what do you have to say about that?
I 100% agree with it. I don't play these games for the PvP, so it doesn't bother me none. But yeah, the Left 4 Dead's PvP was not great. I haven't even touched this PvP. I'm assuming it's going to be just equally as meh. So
Yeah,
there's
and
there's
uh,
PvP. I didn't know that.
yeah, there. I think I don't know if it was available in the demo. I think
it
it might have
wasn't.
been.
Oh, okay, maybe
Okay.
that was why.
Eh.
Because I barely bought the game. I haven't played it yet.
But to move on or kind of to continue the flow of my questions here is that like yeah, I've heard even from friends and just many people alike is that the hardest difficulty is like such a huge curve. Like you, first of all, you can't complete it with bots because apparently the AI are just the worst that exist in
Yeah,
the
I
game.
heard them screaming last night trying to do a certain mission on the hardest difficulty. They couldn't do it.
Yeah, apparently it's just so like not great. Um,
Like
so
you
that's
need, I guess, the right cards and whatnot.
yeah. There's that. Um, and there's also the over reliance of cards that some people don't seem to be too keen on. That like for later difficulty, I'm sure you could do the first three. Is there only like 4 or 5 difficulties?
3.
Three really?
Hmm.
It's not even like Left 4 Dead 4 where they like had easy, normal, hard, and then extreme or whatever.
Unless you unlock one later, there's only 3. There's the recruit, and then there's the middle one, and then there's like that hard one.
Oh, I thought you unlocked the fourth one in the demo. I guess that was just all right. Anyway, yeah, so that seems to be a big problem. I don't know if they'll ever come back and fix it. Um, that being said, there's 7 playable cleaner characters, and like they're all called cleaners, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and he talks about his favorite character, and I'll just move on. What I will say is that here's my problem with it. Um, I'm not Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 were cool, uh, with for what they were, and I think they're fun. And mods definitely make them replayable and stuff. However, Back for Blood just feels like it's not. I know there's a saying about reinventing the wheel, but I feel like it just reinvented almost the same exact wheel and just like made it prettier. And that's about it, if that makes sense. That's why, like, when I played the demo, I was like, that was fun for like a day or two, but like, I didn't want to play it again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like you played this before, and it might not be for you because you're like been there, done that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what it was. It felt like I could have played a mod of like a modded campaign or something, and like this would be there. The only thing I'm missing out on is the characters, probably, which is something that is fun. I think I played the Bat Chick who gave more stamina. That was kind of cool. The chick I wanted to play wasn't available, and that's how demos work. But it's just it's more of that, and you just got to get the right gun. There's like 1 or 2 guns you want to use. Either boils down to the best shotgun or that one AR, and there might be a sniper that's decent. It depends, and you use that to mow down everything. And yeah, you just most of your fights end up being get on a high spot, throw a pipe bomb sometimes. Melee a thing that tries to hit you, save your teammate from spitters. I've been there and done that.
Oh, I was gonna say I saw a couple of videos people having insane melee builds, and you can do some pretty cool stuff when you have like when
Is
you get the
melee
right cards and whatnot.
is
Yeah.
melee decent? Because I remember
Okay,
in
so here when you played the demo, you only had a small handful of cards to play with and tweak and edit. Now that the game is out, there is a crap ton of cards. So if you Google it, like right now, I'm playing a medic build because my friends suck, so I got to heal them. So I play the doc, which is the female doctor, and she's kind of funny, quippy, whatever. But everyone has like a passive ability. Her ability is she reduces trauma. So as you take damage, your trauma comes in, and then you can't unheal the trauma until you get to a full medical station, which they're not available and they're pretty hard to get. But anyways,
Yeah.
so as a medic, what I'm doing is one of my cards is when any one of my teammates knocks down, I just start healing people for like 20 seconds. So there's a bunch of cards to play differently. So Left 4 Dead was great because it was point A and you got to run the point B, and there's a bunch of zombies you got to kill. Uh, Back for Blood is that, but it also changes it up a little bit. So, like you said, you get the shotgun, you get the sniper rifle. Here now, you got the shotgun, but now you can put mods on it. So you can put a better barrel, a better scope, a better magazine, or a better stock. And there's multiple stocks that do multiple things. And not only that, as you progress through the game, which you couldn't do in the demo, when you get like to like Act One, like 2-1 or whatever, the next brick, and you beat little levels, you'll get a green shotgun or a blue shotgun or a purple shotgun, and they start doing more damage. They start reloading faster. And stuff like that. So so now you can get a shotgun, but you can put the compressor at the end of the barrel so it does more damage, or you can find a mod that gives you a barrel extender, which will increase the range of the shotgun. So just right there alone, you can play the shotgun a little bit different. You want to go really super close, you want to shoot from a little bit farther.
Yeah,
And
which
then go ahead.
I was just gonna say, which is great and fine, and I like that. That just the problem for me is that it doesn't feel lasting. Like it doesn't carry from campaign to campaign, which is the idea. I know, but why add so much versatility to a weapon that you will abandon in like an hour or two, if that makes sense?
I
It
guess maybe
it
think of it
only
like a
goes
roguelike.
it only goes away when you die, or if you log out of the game and then log back in.
Oh
But
wait, oh,
even then, as you play, so when you start the game in Act One, right, everything's white, everything's your basic mods, and then as you progress, you can start at Chapter Two, or later on chapter, and then as you get in those chapters, every time the level starts, there's the shop, and then those shops have the better mod. There's only one or two, but you can build that you can have that build again, so it's not gone forever.
okay. So okay, okay. Now knowing that, I guess it's because the demo played it differently or whatever. Whenever you started campaign over, but now knowing that, that's better. It does sell the game a little bit more to me. But how do you tell this to somebody who's played a lot of Left 4 Dead 2 across different consoles too? Like I played it on 360 and PC. Played a bunch of modded maps and stuff. How do you sell this to somebody who's like, I own L for D2? Like, how would you sell this?
This is Left 4 Dead 2 HD Remix 2.0
This
Maximum
sounds
Edition.
this sounds like a Kingdom Hearts remake
It
title.
kind of does.
Birth by Sleep by Midnight Storm.
All right, then you know what? To some people, that would do just perfectly fine. To others, I'm not too sure. But again, the demo was fun. I do think if you love zombie shooters, this is probably the one to get out of like the others that exist out there. What other
Y-
ones exist? I know IGN here is like, what's your favorite Left 4 Dead alternative? And it lists World War Z for some reason, which I don't even know what that game
I
plays like.
guess if you count
Yeah.
like the zombies mode in Call of Duty games,
Yeah, but
technically.
no, that's its own thing. Like, I would
Yeah,
not
it's its
compare
own.
that.
Yeah, it is its own thing, but that's comparable. I mean, you're fighting against waves of zombies, and some of them you stop it after you do an Easter egg, but not like in this. But there's a campaign in Back for Blood, which is
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
Oh,
So
so I also forgot to mention too. Left 4 Dead was point A to point B. Back for Blood, there's a lot of that, but there's I've only played. I'm halfway through Act One. I've played Act One quite a bit. I haven't just playing with my friend. We're farming. We're getting better cards. But there's points where you have to you leave the door and then you have to go look for survivors. So not only do you just get to point A to point B, you also have to look for survivors. So you have to go this way and find survivors and do that. So it's not always straight A to B.
all right. Well,
And then when you play, there's a corruption cards. So sometimes like there's heavy mist. So if you like sniping, you're not gonna snipe in the heavy mist. Later on, you start playing, and then there's a it's called blackout, and all the lights are out, so you're playing the whole game with only a flashlight.
Yeah,
And they're random. Those are random, so those will pop in and out, mix it
yeah,
up.
which I do know does add a level of variety. I remember, I kind of forgot about that, but I remember now. Um, which I had one more question, and it was pretty much just gonna go like this. Do the developers? I haven't heard much from the developers other than like trailers and stuff. Do they plan to like keep this game alive? Or are they gonna put in more campaigns, free? Or are they gonna charge DLC for that kind of stuff? Or are they gonna add in more cards? Like, what's the roadmap look like? I don't know if you know. I'm asking just a genuine question to anybody.
They haven't officially said anything, but they better because I bought the deluxe edition and it comes with season one. So there better be something in season one.
Okay, so it won't be free. All right, I was kind of hoping that they do. No, I shouldn't say I'd be hoping. What I was more assuming they would do is that they would release like free campaigns and stuff. However, there'll be like pay to win type DLC where like you could get booster cards and like level you up faster. And then that's just they just sustain themselves like Apex style or whatever. There's a new season and stuff happen. Or even Borderlands style. That's what Borderlands 3 has adopted. I know it's kind of weird to hear say that. But they've done like a season pass kind of thing where every couple months they introduce like a few new weapons and skins and stuff that you can go earn, and that's pretty much how they do it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe like I think a small applause for Borderlands for that, for like keeping the game alive and having their stuff to do besides just starting a new character. But Back for Blood, that'd be kind of neat. Something like that. Go back and do certain challenges. I'm just saying that out loud. Again, I haven't played it, so I don't have a
So
hands-on feel for it.
when I got the game and I got the deluxe edition, so I got it 4 days early, and none of my friends did. So the game sat there. I played it for like 2 or 3 hours, and there was a lot of waiting in lobbies because it was a deluxe edition. Not everyone got that version. So I barely played it. But as soon as my friends got it and the four of us started playing, we're having a blast. We're yelling at each other. You cover me, don't do this, and everyone just loves to go. They see something shiny, so they run that way, and then they get picked off because noobs. But
Yeah.
it's a game that even a bad game with your friends can be good. And
Yeah.
this is a solid game. So with friends, it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and again, it seems to garner a lot of like. I haven't read a bunch of reviews, but I'm just like seeing just some audience reviews on Google, and people are giving it generally 3 stars or higher from what I'm seeing. Um,
I'm seeing very positive
yeah.
on Steam.
Is it?
Yeah,
Well, Steam is one whole platform of in itself.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, congrats for releasing your game. I think it was Warner Brothers Interactive as a publisher. It's right here, Turtle Rock
Or
Studios.
the Rock. Yeah.
Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. Congrats. I hope the best for your game. I might buy it maybe on Black Friday. Uh, till then, we'll see. However, moving on to the next game that also came out not too long ago on October 8th. So it's been just a little over a week now, but I think last week when it came out, it just came out as we were doing the podcast, which is why we couldn't really talk about it. But now that it's been a week to settle, Metroid Dread. That's a game series. In case you forgot, Metroid is a game series. Metroid is a game series. Saying it so you remember. And they finally released the game after. Hey Josh, when was the last time they released the game?
Uh,
It's been a while. Um,
like other M on the Wii or something like
yeah,
that.
because
Well,
I'm not.
besides like Federation
Yeah, I
Force.
was gonna say I'm not counting Federation on the 3DS. No, I'm not counting that one. But
It's
it's
been a
been a
while.
while. Yeah,
It's been
and
a
this
long
one,
while
this
for a
one
main title.
This one so far seems to have really good reviews. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. Metacritic gave it an 89%. And Trusted Reviews gave it a 5 out of 5. And on Google, users, 96% like this video game. So that's,
Yeah, a lot of the reviews I've been seeing, a lot of people have been saying it's the best Metroid that they've ever played, like outside of Super Metroid,
yeah, and
which is really good.
Forbes really gives it a good extensive talk. And by the way, I guess spoilers, because the title right here says Metroid Dread review an excellent conclusion to a decades long story. So is that what this is?
Um,
People gone out and said that. I can't really say much more, but I think they're talking about just the two. I don't know how Metroid works. All right. So
They're
Yeah,
all,
no,
they're all technically a part of one timeline.
yeah. There's 4 games that are focusing on this timeline. I forgot which ones don't, but this game they announced it or rumored it like in 2012 or 2011, and then it just went silent.
Oh,
But yeah, this is supposed to, I think, end that's this from the Nintendo Metroid. I think it's supposed to end that.
okay, well, I sure hope they don't let the game die after this. I mean,
oh, real quick. After looking it up to answer, I guess the question, what was the last Metroid game? Technically, it was Other M, which came out in 2010, but
So
game came out in
we
2017. Metroid: Samus Returns, which is a remake of Metroid
oh
2:
yeah, I
Return of
forgot about
Samus.
that.
But
Yeah,
that
and it
was
was
back
on.
in like on 3DS, I think, in 2017.
Yeah,
So that one doesn't
eh,
really count.
that's not a new game.
Yeah, not really. Some I
It's a
guess
remake of
other.
an old game.
I
It's a
mean,
remake of a Game Boy game.
yeah, we're not gonna count Metroid Prime Federation Force because that's not even.
Doesn't even have Samus like
Yeah, I don't
main
count that.
character.
I guess Other M, yeah, back in 2010.
yeah. So,
Despite how
so
bad Other M is, it's there.
I can't read too much of a review of uh of from Forbes because it kind of gives a lot of spoilers. However, I will say from few game clips and stuff that I've seen is that it is a really solid 2D platformer. And I know some people on Twitter see 2D and like get up in bunches about it for some reason. I just don't get it. That's a whole conversation for itself.
Who's
But
saying that? I want to talk to them.
you can just go look at Twitter.
Actually,
Um,
never mind. I don't want to.
yeah. But there are people saying that, and Forbes gives it a 9 out of 10, by the way. And it says overall, Metroid Dread brings a narrative close to a decades-long story with excellent level design and combat. It also looks great as well. So until Aran, I can't speak today. Until Samus Aran is needed once again to save the Galactic Federation, I am happy to just savor the joy of another successfully completed mission. So looking at screenshots, it looks real pretty. Like it's kind of hard to believe this came on a Switch. And I know like when you're making a 2D game, you have ease of access of like, this is only what the camera's seeing, so you don't got to worry about a bunch of things. But like, even the zoom up and zoom up, I don't know which one's the right term, of just Samus themselves is really, really cool.
Speaking of like the only seeing the 2D, this game there does it shows a lot of like 3D aspects. Like it shows you 3D perspectives sometimes in the game just to show you how big the world is. Like it
Yeah.
does a really good job of like it shows you the 2D side and then you see inside Samus's visor and you see what she sees and you see this big giant world and it looks pretty.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I know I've seen like a couple of the executions against whatever weird thing that she's fighting. I know it's a robot. We've all seen the trailer, but whatever weird thing Samus is fighting, and like it pans the camera like to like give you like a third person kind of perspective, and I thought that was really cool. So like even though it's like set as it plays as a 2D platformer, it does have a lot going for it in terms of world and just having a physical world around you. Um, I can't really add much more. That because I haven't played it. I know just Marty, why don't you play games? I do, just like not any of these games right now interest me. But I think Metroid Dread is something. First of all, Metroid fans have wanted without a doubt. Secondly, will probably revitalize the series, which is funny for it being a conclusive end, so to say. And maybe it'll point more eyes to it, where Nintendo go like, "Hey, this isn't like Star Fox Zero." Tears, by the way. This isn't like Star Fox Zero where we like fucked it up. Why don't we like do this more? What are we doing? Like, I hope that's kind of the thought going through their head, but I don't even know who developed this. Was it in-house development or was it handed to somebody else?
That's a good question.
Okay, so there's another controversy. Um, there was this company, I forget who, I don't know the name, but they're the way they work is you had to work so many hours for you to get credited to get credit on the game. So there was this guy who tweeted like, "Hey, like my artwork is there, but because I didn't work X amount of hours, my name is not on this game."
Really?
Yeah, it was a pretty shitty situation.
Huh. Who was the development team?
Oh,
The
let's find
development
out.
team is Mercury Steams, and apparently they're responsible for reviving the Castlevania series for Konami.
All right, talk about revival. Like we talking the 3D ones that were like pretty bad on
Yes.
360.
I don't know about that. Let me double check.
I was gonna
It says
say,
they've done revivals. That's what they're most famous for, is reviving Castlevania.
I was gonna say I remember playing Castlevania Lord of Shadows, and that was a video game. I don't, you know,
They made Lord of Shadows, Lord of Shadows Mirror of Fate, and then Lord of Shadows 2.
I don't think they were that great in my
They
opinion.
also made the last remake for Metroid: Samus Returns.
Okay, well maybe my own opinion is just a bad one here, but I don't think Lord of Shadows was all that great.
It looks like the
Teenage
two the
Marty
two
returns that.
Nintendo the two Nintendo games look like have been a hit.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But however, Metroid Dread, I'm more inclined to buy this than Back for Blood. Actually, I'll be a little honest.
I can tell you from playing it for like a couple hours, the gameplay is solid. The gameplay
Yeah.
is really smooth and buttery.
Well,
Like it's great.
here's the thing. I just have a hard time buying single player games unless I know I'm gonna get
Fair
like
enough.
a good few hours, which is why like I don't buy them on release most of the time. There's a few exceptions. There are exceptions, but uh, I'm newer to Metroid. I started playing Zero Mission or whatever, and Zero Mission's kind of cool, but you really just have to know what you're doing.
This
Uh,
one, I've heard a lot of reviews from people that have played it, and a lot of people have never played a Metroid game before, and they're like, "Oh, a lot of previous Metroid games have like made you do a lot of like backtracking and exploring, and that's what the Metroidvania kind of game is all about. Like a lot of backtracking, going back to places that you couldn't go to previously. Now that you have the power up, but this one
yeah.
does a good job of not like doing that too much. But even if it does, you move like a speeding bullet in this game. So even if you have to backtrack, it feels like you're there instantly. It's like a minute. 'Cause Samus runs fast. She is fast in this game.
Well,
And you just running around is really fun.
if there's anything I wanted, it's to run fast. But you know, cries in Sonic games as well. I'm a fan of just shitty games, Star Fox and Sonic, and that's just my own personal problem. But
Sonic was fun whenever you could play a good one.
yeah, in the 90s and Mania and Generations at one time. So
Generations
like
1 was good.
like five of them. Anyway, um, again droid, Metroid. I'm so sorry. Metroid Dread. I might just buy this. I might because Nintendo just doesn't have great Black Friday deals anyway. And even if they did, like it would knock off $5. So really, what's the point? But moving on to our final topic of the evening, Final Fantasy XIV. We talked about it before, but they just had a recent media tour, and their media tour wasn't really much of a tour. But to be fair, it took place in Japan, and they take COVID seriously. So again, it's a small little clap for them one more time. Um,
Woo!
but this is from Gamer Escape Gamer Escape. Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker Media Tour overview, and this was posted a few days ago. And we recently had a chance to get hands-on with the preview build.
I was gonna say, should we quickly explain what the media tour exactly is or normally is about?
Well, first of all, the media tour happened a while ago, but the embargo finally got lifted, so they
Yeah.
can
Oh,
talk about it. Period.
So the media
I didn't know
tour,
about that.
the media tour is typically what they do before expansions. So they'll get some content creators to come and play the game or an early build and ask, and then
Didn't
they also get to do like certain interviews. They can ask like questions to Naoki Yoshida, who is the current director of Final Fantasy 14,
And to
and
avoid confusion, Naoki Yoshida, I will refer to as Yoshi P.
yeah, he's known by that as well. So yeah, that
But
figure to say
to
that.
continue, we recently had a chance to get hands-on with a preview build of FF14 Endwalker, as we have with previous FF14 media tours. We've compiled a post detailing each job and the changes that they'll see when the expansion goes live, as well as a look at several new areas in a brand new dungeon. Oh, and stubble. We look at stubble. I don't know what stubble means. I could
Do you
read through that
remember?
real.
Do you remember the trailer for Shadowbringers where the warrior light had the little 5 o'clock shadow?
Are we gonna get that? Is that?
They already confirmed it's in there
Oh,
for the
cool.
male here only.
I was gonna say I don't think that's gonna matter if you're an Elizin or Lalafell or about anything else. But
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
nice, good for them. You hear that, Ernie? Your Lalafell can't get stubble. Still,
Finally,
no, can't.
finally.
Okay.
You could have
Uh,
a little stash.
the part I want to focus on is the interview with Yoshida, and we might look at the dungeon, but I want to mostly just focus on one thing here. So they interview Yoshi P. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it consistent. Yoshi P. And they go a couple weeks ago after spending a large portion of the day getting hands-on time with FF14 Endwalker, which I'll just call Endwalker from now on. We had a chance to meet with producer and director Yoshi P over Zoom to ask about the expansion and future updates. And I'll just read the questions and then just give a summary of the answer because Yoshi P gives really long answers. Um,
Yeah.
Gamer Escape. The changes to Summoner were really fun to play, and the job feels just as active as it did before, which I that's a plus for you, Ernie. So I hope you're listening. Can you go in and tell us a little bit about how you did those changes for Summoner? And then just pretty much what he says is with the updates we made in our previous expansion, we were using a base system that was built during ARR era, which is first of all interesting. So it was made when they had a limited amount of time. Isn't that kind of crazy how like in Shadowbringers they were using a whole era from what 3 expansions ago?
Yeah.
So anyway, they were like, how do we revamp or rebuild summoners? And they looked at the eggies, which is something they should have looked. I've been saying this for a long time, but like I've looked at those eggies and go like, hey, no one likes using those. How about make them what they're supposed to be? And pretty much they finally had the revelation, to go, hey, summoners, you can summon, and everyone lost it. Me too, even. And that's pretty much what happened. And all I gotta say is that good job on them. I'm reiterating that point that this should have been possible, but also like please make it that like they're not necessary for me to see because I don't want to be fighting something and then just Titan just shows up even if it's only for 2 seconds and like blocks my screen and be like, oh cool, and then like I missed an AOE or something.
Fun fact: Summoner has always been changed every expansion, or in a different way.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
they always want to do something different with it, but this is the first time they like, oh, this
Yeah,
is what we want.
yeah, this is exactly what they want. I think they finally found what they want to do with Summoner, specifically out of all the jobs.
okay, to kind of bring it up a month forward, I will ask Ernie once again. What do you think of being able to summon
Someone who
now?
plays Final Fantasy 11 and summon real summons during gameplay, I'm happy because that's the summoner I think. Uh, this throwing dots, that's not my summoner. Hashtag not my summoner.
They got rid of dots. No more dots for
Yeah,
some.
yep.
And
So,
dots are damage over time for people who don't play this game.
hmm but yeah, and the fact to hear that at least Gamerscape had fun with it, it's a good time to be a summoner.
Yeah.
Here's a fun little fact. When I first started FF14 on PS4, gross, I know. I started off as an Arcanist and just hated it. By the way,
You got to like level 6,
yeah, but it was still like, ew. I
but
had to
like,
stand here.
yeah, it's not a fun time at the very beginning. You get like ruin.
Yeah, it's just like,
Say it, ruin.
so
You
then
could
I moved
say,
on.
you could
Don't say
say,
it. Don't say it.
okay,
Don't say it.
you know what
Yeah.
I was gonna say. Everyone knows what I was gonna
Uh,
say.
here's a funny question that they asked. Because it's still using Bahamut, is Tiamat going to be upset with us? And Yoshipi said, "Yeah, you'll be fine. She won't get angry because the Bahamut Prime that the summoners use is different from the Bahamut she knows. In that respect, just to add, the Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan that you summon aren't literally the primals that exist in Eorzea. I kind of guessed that, but anyway, or else we'd suck out all the aether from the planet and we would destroy Hydaelyn. For you lore fiends out there, and I know someone's gonna take this. There's lore behind it. The powers that were bestowed upon your Eggy is kind of how you're able to summon these creatures. So, for those who know, or for those who don't know, uh, pretty much is that you're not actually resummoning the primals, and the lore implication would be like good because you would accidentally mess up the imbalance. That's neat for a lorehound like me. I'm glad Yoshi P like answered that. Also, good to know that I'm not actually summoning Bahamut, or summoners are summoning Bahamut. God knows.
Hashtag not my summoner.
Well, there you go. Yeah, but like you would mess up the world. You would blow up the world by accident.
Hashtag
Not your summoner. Um.
yes.
Anyway,
Your words get great again.
No.
with Shadowbringers, there were a lot of and I didn't know about this until reading through this. By the way, with Shadowbringers, there was a lot of talk about how you were able to overcome the technical challenges to get the sky to change depending on player progression. And I was wondering if there was any technical challenges that you and the team overcame for Endwalker that you're able to talk about. Before I read Yoshi P's answer, first of all, I didn't know that was. Look, I'm no game developer. I've said this many times, but I didn't know that was like a technical challenge in of itself. To
Yeah,
like,
I actually thought about that once when I was playing. I'm like, because if you're not far enough the story, some players would see the sky, have like the return darkness and regular daylight, but other players, if they were earlier,
Yeah.
they would just have like the constant light.
And to continue, I will just say that in an MMO, I can see how that's like. I didn't think about it when I was playing through it, but as in an MMO, I understand how that's a challenge because you're all in the synced world. But like to know that Jimmy over there is seeing bright light and you're seeing the pure darkness is kind of astounding. I guess like I just did not think about it once. So to read to his answer about Endwalker, he says, "So there are technical aspects that we did incorporate. I would love to talk about them, but I'm afraid I can't. Really can't. What can I say about this? Okay, so with Hydaelyn and Zodiark Saga coming to a conclusion with Endwalker, in case you don't know, this is like the end, so to say, not of FF14, just of the
Just
story.
the story saga that they're going with.
Yeah. It is sort of culmination of everything we've been building since forever. And in terms of technical challenges, we had sort of put upon ourselves like we did in Shadowbringers. It is definitely there. And he just kind of repeats the same thing. But he's saying the moon is something that we were very torn over. We racked on brains on how do we depict scenes once we're on the moon. And fundamentally speaking, what is the moon in the realm of FF14? I'm gonna say this now. If I don't get to high jump, like if I jump and I jump like a normal boy on Earth and not like super high on the moon, like what should probably happen, I'll be sad. I'll ignore the fact that I'm not wearing an astronaut helmet. In fact, I think it'd be really funny if in the final trial everyone's just like dressed like
I
Buzz
mean,
Arm, like an astronaut. I think
you
it'd
can
be
breathe
super hilarious.
underwater.
Say
There
that
might
again?
you can breathe underwater because of magic. There might be a thing. It's
No,
oh,
no. I want realism in my fantasy game. I want
okay.
final reality.
You
My
can
apologies.
jump if you want on the moon. Just hold the lance, become a dragoon.
Oh
You
my
can jump
god.
anywhere you want,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You're
So
getting 2 stacks of spine
so
shatter dive.
So pretty much they're telling you like when you get to the moon, look forward to it. I was like, good. I better be able to jump high, especially after reading that. Considering there were in quotations technical challenges to that. The technical challenges must have been like, how do we make them jump higher? Because reminder, we didn't always have jump in FF14. I think in Realm Reborn it was added, or was it after that? But there wasn't always jump.
I think it was 1.0 did not have jump, and then they added it in Realm Reborn. I think if I'm correct.
Yeah. I started playing during a Reborn, and I do remember jumping was a thing then, but never played 1.0, so
I think they
can't
didn't
say.
add it in 1.0 because they're like, why? Why do you need to jump?
I think the reason because by the way, Yoshi P he started the director came in at like near the end of 1.0, and he create everything and help the team like 2.0 onward. I think he said something on the lines of, "Yeah, it's just fun to like jump around sometimes. It's not for gameplay things, just like people like to jump."
Yeah, so I'm
That's like,
surprised they never added it before. Because jumping, you just jump around when you were like waiting for something, jumping around the bar, jumping around the aetherite,
yeah,
jumping around. You just jump everywhere.
yeah. And if you're
Yeah.
Vera, I mean, you're pretty
Shut up,
much used to that, right? You just hop to it.
shut up.
I think of one pun, and you denied me the other one.
All right. Well, moving on. I'll give you that one. So moon jumping, that'd be great. But here's another question. During the presentation that we saw today, you mentioned that there would be more dungeons that use trust starting from patch 6.1 onward. I was curious if that's going to include older content because there's a lot of content from the beginning of the game up until level 71 when you unlock trust for Shadowbringers. And there's a question I'm glad they asked because I've had it about myself that trust is cool and it definitely helps if you're a DPS trying to just get through the story or whatever. But it really just like it's only for the last 10 levels of the game that it's a thing. And Yoshi P had this to say. He said, "At this time, I'm afraid I can say it will only be in various places that this trust system will be supported. Once Endwalker does release, I do want to take the time to talk to the players about what we are envisioning, what our plans are. So I'm afraid I would like to ask you to stand by just a little bit more for now." So to keep it short, for the rest of the question, they would like to sort of try, and that was my phone being vibrate. They would like to sort of try and go back and do something, right? They would like, and I would like them to implement trust at least like level 30 and up. I kind of get the idea that like you got to play with people. It's the MMO thing, but leveling up from 1 to 70 just takes so long if you're a DPS, and if you don't have friends, it's so painful. So, you know, I just have to say that for my part. I don't know if anybody here, maybe George, Josh, even Ernie. Ernie, I doubt you even touch trust because you always message me whenever a new dungeon opens up.
This is true. I got friends.
Yeah. I mean,
Trusts have their pros and cons. The
yeah.
pros being you get to go into the dungeon instantly. The con being they don't do damage and they suck at healing.
And
It's
they
very
tank
slow.
they tank like 3 enemies at a time. Like
Yes,
it's
you have to force Thancred to grab more mobs by pulling
I,
them yourself.
I mean, some of the like pros, like people who have anxiety, like talking in games or whatnot, may not feel comfortable, like even just typing to people. It helps them, like, oh, I can do this without having to bother or apologize for me playing that good or whatnot.
Yeah, that's nice. It also teaches you how to play the dungeon's mechanics on your
Me-
own terms.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I have humility. Like it's funny to me when I mess up. Good example being like yesterday, where I told Terminator to like LB3 way too early and we died. Um, I don't. I fucking loved it. In
Oh,
fact,
I know what you were doing.
in
See a
fact,
sacrifice.
yeah, in
Yeah.
fact, that game, stuff like that in this game specifically is what gives me joy of playing the game. Because like, trust me, perfect runs are great, but the human error is really funny.
Are you,
Perfect runs don't really give you much to talk about.
Yeah, so it's really funny. Um, that being said, trust. I look forward to that. Here's another one. Back in April, I'm gonna mess up this name. Shoichi Matsuzawa said that you were thinking about upgrading the in-game textures. I know Josh has asked about or talked about this before. In a way, looking ahead now, with such an emphasis on the next 10 years of the game, I was curious if you could talk a little bit about that, and if there were any other kind of big graphical or engine upgrades that you're looking into. And Yoshi P said literally this: there's nothing I can say about it.
the
So he,
gist?
so
I was gonna say like the gist. What I've read is, uh, right now we want people to focus on Endwalker, and then after that we can focus on that because they're too busy
yeah,
doing this.
yeah. He pretty much also like said like, hey, we're gonna same as trust. We're gonna talk to players, see what's up. For now, don't really have an answer. And here's a final question, and my personal favorite, so best for last in a way. We know that Ishgard housing is coming with Endwalker, and you've talked about a lottery system, but also having a first come first serve type system. Because for those who don't know, getting housing in FF14 is a horror. Can you talk a little bit about how that lottery works, and are there going to be any plans to add that system into older housing areas? Which at this point I think is too late. But Yoshi P responded with, "I just wanted to clarify, and you may be aware of this, but of course, Ishgard housing area plots of land can only be purchased starting patch 6.1. That's kind of obvious. It won't be immediately available. If it was, as soon as I downloaded and started that expansion, it'd be like, oh, cool story and stuff. I'd just be at a house like, yeah, guys, hope you're having fun.
Free real estate. Everyone else is trying to like get ready, like right up, like get gear as fast as they can for upcoming raids, and you're like, it's free real estate.
It's for real estate. And like people are beating the story and like, oh, when this happened and like Xenos did that, I'm like, yeah,
You're
I
over
have a
here in your
couch.
house.
Yeah, I have a couch. I'm at 19 million gil strong now, by the way.
Ooh, nice.
Yes.
You wanna hand over some guild to those
No,
poor unfortunate folk?
no. Did you not just hear me? I'm trying to purchase a house for once in my life.
But
You got
I have a great
6.1.
charity you can donate some of the money to.
Don't give any to George. Give it to me.
Honestly,
No, give it to the Luffy D Monkey Foundation.
no.
No.
I'm
You know
buying.
what? You know what
If
he did with all of Raw's money? He spent it.
I returned it back. I paid them back. All
No, you
right.
didn't.
Yeah, I
and
did.
No,
Ask
and
you
now,
Squirrel.
didn't. Raw's gonna say no. He already had told me.
No,
but
I
anyway.
paid him back 3 million.
So
Sure.
anyway, here's what he says: the area will become open, but you won't be able to purchase any plots until the patch release. So I imagine like for 6.0, you'll be able to walk in there and look around, but like that's it. And as such, we will be going into much more details during another live letter after the Endwalker release. But I'm able to speak to parts of it at this time, and I might need clarification on this because I'm not too savvy. But so for the system itself and the lottery system, once it is implemented, we're going to allow for certain wards, not single plots, but the ward to be designed as a lottery ward or a first come, first served ward. The development team or operations teams will separate out these different designated areas. So even if it is an existing housing area, if a particular ward is set as a lottery area, whenever a plot becomes available because it's within that designated area for lottery, it will be available as lottery. I think what he's trying to say is that there will just be some where like it's random if you get it or not. Um, but
Yeah,
there will also be
so
wards where like if you're there, you're there.
yeah,
So
so it like the lottery, it's like you'll you'll have a chance to be able to buy it. Like, oh, you are the lucky few who can have a chance to buy it, whereas the other one's first come first serve. First person there when it's opened up, you can buy it. There you go.
Yeah,
But with
and
the lottery system, it's like, oh, you can't just wait there.
yeah, I was
You
gonna
have
say
it's gotta
what the
be selected.
what the lottery system kind of does is that it also pushes out the because what some people do. So houses are not supposed to be super expensive. I'm gonna start off with preface with that. Small plots are supposed to be like 5 mil. Medium are supposed to be like 15. Or so it ranges, but that range, and large are supposed to be like 50 or 30. It ranges again. Um, that's how much they're supposed to be. However, the housing market, I almost said housing market, by the way. The housing market, um, got blown really out of proportion because A, the player base like blew up, and B, they also revisioned it because at one point the houses were marked for like 450K. I learned that thanks to Cal. But they quickly changed that. But and then it seemed fine with the small number again. But then now that like more people have played it, what some people do is when they don't want a house, they just like, all right, it's for sale, send me a whisper. And like pretty much what happens is that I'm gonna put it on sale and you're gonna be right here ready to buy it. But hand me like 500 million gil first. I'm sure that's like an actual price for somebody, but like hand me all your gil first, whatever price I said, and then boom, it's on sale. You could take it, go. Like that. That's how they did it. There was no like actual like real estate kind of deal. Um so I assume with the lottery that when a house goes up for sale, like you can't what those people can't do anymore is wait there. Like that house is now up. And if there are like 20 people who happen to be around in the area, it's not first come first serve. It's one of those 20 people.
Know
Does
how
that
you
make
get
sense?
put into the lottery. I think maybe you can. I'm not sure if this is how I'm envisioning it. It's where, oh, you put this little tab. It's like I'm looking to buy a house in this ward, this lottery, and then I guess they'll be like, oh, okay, you're entered for the lottery. We'll let you know if you're selected if ever a house gets or a
Well, then,
plot
yeah,
is
see,
available.
it still prevents the whole like, give me this much money, I'm gonna put it available.
Yeah,
Like, it still prevents that because that means like, yeah. So, and if they do implement it to older wards and like housing areas, that is a big blow for you if you like sell if you plan to sell your house. So I guess sell it now or not at all. Otherwise, it's really happy for someone like me who like will see prices and be like, yeah, I'm selling a house for 100 million. I'm like, all right, buddy.
yeah.
I don't know if you realize it took me about 3 years, almost 3 years, to get to nearly 20 mil. So like,
I
let's
mean,
calm
you
it
were also
down.
playing very casually more back then,
Yeah,
technically.
yeah, I was. And then the firmament happened, and that's when I started getting like more rich, and now I've been building ever since.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, the firmament was where money blew into my pockets really, really fast.
Which to clarify for people who don't play this game, firmament was the thing added for crafting, just helping
Is where you
craft
is
your
where you could work out
abilities.
your big muscly bones and build Empire State Buildings practically.
Yeah,
But yeah, with that, I've been excited for Endwalker for all the wrong reasons. I'm just a new expansion is always fun. It's when most people are playing. It's when most people are on. Um, it's when I can talk to like old friends and new friends and even a bear. If you get that reference, Ernie.
I do not.
You never watched the Cleveland show?
Oh yeah. What was the
Yeah,
reference?
yeah, yeah. Like old friends and new friends and even a bear.
Oh
I've
yeah,
only
I like
seen
that
like
voice.
2 or 3 episodes. I wasn't a fan of the show really.
I thought Cleveland
It's a good
show was
show.
like. I thought it was kind of funny. I think American Dad is still the better. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it's anyway.
So
anyway,
you might ask yourself, is Ernie playing NHL 22? He sure is.
is that what you're doing right now?
Hmm.
I
Oh
was
my
thinking of
god.
continuing my Final Fantasy 3 playthrough during this, but I was like, nah.
All right.
Anyway,
Well. Anyway. Endwalker. I'm excited for any lasting notes from either of you. I know you guys have read and watched and listened to a lot more interviews, so now would be the time.
Some jobs got good changes, other jobs got disappointing changes. I don't know if
um,
there's any job in particular you're looking at.
Yeah,
I
Dark
think
Knight,
it's
but I
I
hear
think
it's
like
yeah.
every expansion, there's a couple jobs that get shafted, but then future expansions, they get some pluses.
I don't
So it's
think
a
we're getting. I don't think we're getting a Shadowbringers 2 where they make the Dark Knight the main class again. So I don't
The
think
nope.
we're gonna.
Dark Knight didn't get like super big changes to its kit.
No, but I would
Like the biggest change they got was like potency increases for your esteem.
I was also
don't
gonna say
care.
Dark Knight is probably the only tank that doesn't have any kind of regen like ability because Warrior
Soul Eater.
gained a
No, I'm just
regen.
kidding.
Soul Eater. Yeah, they really buffed up the paladin. A lot of its
Yeah.
magical attacks now give it
They
healing,
they
so it
nerfed
has good
Nation Flash. I was gonna say
self-sustain.
for Warrior they nerfed Nation Flash a bit, but they buffed Equilibrium. And overall, I think it's still gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I heard some warrior friend mains of mine who were complaining. I'm like, hey man,
Yeah,
at least you got
Uh,
something.
I'm not gonna talk shit about it until I've actually played it and see how it feels.
But,
But
but man, I would have liked like a cool level 90 duo attack with esteem, where it's just like, to me, and then we just do like a double blood spiller. I don't know. Like this game can do a lot of cool animations with its limited technology, and they just don't sometimes.
look at the new boy don't block Reaper. But anyway, Reaper's looking pretty good.
I'm gonna
I
I'm
spent
gonna
all that
pick,
animation on Reaper.
yeah, I'm gonna pick up Reaper because Reaper looks cool, and I need a maiming class. I do. Um, and
So
I
what you're
I'm
saying
I,
is you're gonna kill it with Reaper, right?
Top.
hey, can we just like end the podcast on that? Just no word. Anyway, thank you for joining us once again on Cheap Chumps podcast. If there's anything to take away from this, is that Doom will somehow be a game that's ran on everything. At one point, they'll just integrate it into Discord. That'd
Oh
be kind
hey,
of cool.
if you like Doom, you could be Gunbreaker in FF14, Rip and Tear.
I'm
It's literally
I'm
one of the
I'm
moves.
like I'm like amazed you don't get paid by Square Enix.
Hey,
Sometimes you just do this for free.
I was gonna say, looking through some interviews, Yoshi P and the dev team, they do like to like watch like Twitch streamers and people playing games and looking at highlights and whatnot. But if they're somehow listening to the podcast, say Yoshi P, sponsor me. I'll do it just for free merch. You don't even have to pay me.
Well, if we do Emerald
Let
Weapon,
me
which
know.
I'm still holding out on soon, maybe he can watch us then and be like, "Wow,
He also said that if you're gonna make YouTube compilations of your best stuff, add a Japanese translation because
Oh yeah,
Japanese viewers do like to watch Westerners play the game. They just
They
can't
also,
deal
but
with
they
the
like
language.
they apparently like to make fun of us too, because like we make up multiple like strats. Meanwhile, they have like one solid strat because they're like a cohesive community. And over here, we're like, well, if we
Because
do this,
they don't do melee. They like to do things from like a distance where it's safe. You know, like
yeah, like cool.
why be dangerous when you can just be
yeah.
safe? You know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Plus,
But like
like I
yeah,
know, like
Japanese subtitles
yeah,
if you're gonna
because
do that.
Yoshi P itself is like just to see how strats work and whatnot. So maybe it's not more the making fun of. It's like they're interested. Like I wonder how these things work in
I
comparison to what
guarantee
he's
they're
doing.
totally making fun of some of us.
I know, yeah, I could
They're
tell
like,
you
look
I
at
there.
these losers. Look at that ninja. Haha, lol.
I mean, from all the interviews, like most of this community is pretty nice. Yeah, you got some bad eggs and whatnot. But I like to think they're mostly nice. Mostly, I'm
Probably.
not saying I'm not gonna be general.
It's like every community. But anyway,
Yeah.
that jumps into its own conversation. We'll go ahead and just start doing sign-offs. This has been me, Marty, your gracious host. I hope you enjoyed. As much as I loved reading and talking for you. To my virtual left this time, I know I'm throwing it up, or
Whoa.
changing it up, Ernie.
What's up, guys? Thanks for listening. Payback for blood.
Yeah, that. And to his left, George.
Whoa. I'm just flabbergasted. We always go to the right. That's our thing. But anyway, it's your
Gotta,
boy George and
gotta switch it
play
up,
FF14. Yeah, that's
And
me. I
last but
think.
not least,
Yo, what up? It's Josh. I'm here. Again. I
again.
play Final Fantasy and Destiny. I don't do anything else.
What about Metroid Dread? Aren't you playing that now too?
I am playing it right now.
Yeah. Oh, and small reminder, Sword does come out in a few days, so just be ready.
Woo! Oh yeah, I
Be
play
ready
Kingdom Hearts too.
in Smash Bros. So be ready for me to talk about that at least a little bit next week. But otherwise, look forward to hearing you guys again or hearing from you guys in terms of
Thanks.
comments and subscriptions and messages. I know I do get comments sometimes. Raw commented
Oh,
last time about George.
What do you
what do you
say?
say?
He said this dude kind of bland.
Wow, talking from Raw, huh? Let's get him on the podcast. We'll see how he can do it, huh? I want
Hey,
to see.
maybe he could be a guest next time.
Yeah,
Anyways,
get
this
our
has
guest
been
print just roll.
this has been
He's
Marty.
gonna say like one word a minute.
Thank you for listening to the Cheap Chumps and have a great evening, day, afternoon, night.
Ralph, if you listen to this, I'm not gonna forget this.